Why do you think some people are able to leave that life behind, knuckle down, have kids, and carry on, and some people are left with the addiction controlling them?
I wish I knew. I think, people can go through phases and grow out of it. It's only really in retrospect I look at my patterns, and having worked a program around addictive patterns throughout my life, do I look back and see how addictive my behaviour was throughout. But why am I an addict and the next person isn't? I don't know.
What happened to make you realize you had to do something had to change?
I remember in absolute desperation, I rang my mother in floods of tears saying, I can't carry on. And we hadn't been close for a long time, so this was quite big for me to reach out and ask for help. And she came and picked me up the next day. And I knew that something had to change, but I had no idea how I was going to do this. And my mother put me in for an assessment at a rehab in the UK. And they saw the state of me, and they said, you've got to stay in and do at least a detox. And I welcomed that, but then it was suggested I needed a longer period of time. And it was all a bit hazy. I mean, I really wasn't compass mentis at this stage, so I just went along with it, and I packed a little bag for 28 days to come to South Africa, thinking it was going to be a bit of a holiday. I think it's just as well I was in ignorance about the whole process. But yeah, I mean, it's saved my life. It's changed my life. I'm filled with gratitude for the recovery that I found since coming to South Africa.
What was the toughest part during that 28 days, the beginning of your recovery?
Well, I went for a 4-day detox, which was pretty horrendous because I was addicted to various different substances and going through withdrawal. But the anxiety that carried on, and that carried on for quite a while into my early recovery for a couple of years, that was paralyzing. But something kept me going. I mean, I think it was either move forward or, I didn't want to go back to where I came from. So I just kept going. But yeah, the anxiety was absolutely crippling.
Now, you mentioned that you relapsed.
Yeah.
How long were you into your recovery when you relapsed?
I'd spent 5 months in treatment, and I relapsed while I was living in a sober house. There was still a very strong denial around the alcohol. I kind of wrapped my head around the drug addiction. And then I spent 4 miserable months researching why I had to put down the red wine. It always leads to drugs, it leads to blackouts, it leads to waking up in strangers' houses, not knowing how I got home. And I remember I woke up 4 months later, sat straight up in bed and sort of surrendered. And I said, okay, I really, really need help. I can't do this on my own. And I booked myself back into treatment. And that was over 4.5 years ago, and I haven't looked back.
Now you're almost 5 years clean. Did you ever think that you would be able to say that?
No. I sometimes have to pinch myself. I mean, a lot has happened. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been an incredible roller coaster. I mean, I'm feeling in a very comfortable place now, but it goes up and down. I still suffer from depression, and anxiety creeps back in occasionally. But no, I have to keep it just in the day. You just put one foot in front of the other, and then one day turns into a week, into a month, and then a year. That was huge for me. And I don't want to jinx it about coming up to 5 years. I say I'm just over 4.5 years clean.